Hello everyone, my name is Gideon Besaidnout and I am an application engineer for Micrographics. Today we're going to have a look at how we can utilize parameters within Inventor and how we can set and create model and user parameters in the modeling environment. When we think about parameters and creating of parameters, it is quite a big advantage in the modeling environment. If you have to think about it, if you set your parameters, one of the advantages is you don't have to go and edit your sketch, edit every different feature perhaps that you've created, but you can change and do any modifications within the parameter table itself. Now I've already got a normal part open. I have not created a sketch yet. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is how we can create user parameters. To access the parameter table, we simply go to the Manage tab and the parameters icon. Once we click on it, the parameter table will open up. Here you can see there's model and user parameters. Nothing has been created, so it would be empty. When we look at adding new user parameters, you'll notice you do have an option where you can add numeric, text, or true or false values. I'm just going to add normal standard numeric parameters, and now the first option that I need to do is create a name. So my first parameter I'm going to call height, and I'm going to give it a value of, let's say, 100 millimeters. I'm going to add another parameter, just call it width. Now I can choose to give it a normal dimension, but I'm going to link this to an already created user parameter. So I want my width to be height divided by 2. So it would update automatically. Now I will be creating another parameter and I'll be naming this thickness. Now for this equation, I'm going to say it would be width divided by 4. Now this allows already for 3 different parameters to be created, and when I create or link these parameters to the model, all I have to do is change one parameter and everything else will update. So I'm going to say done. And now because I've already got parameters created, I'm going to go to the 3D model tab and I'm going to start a 2D sketch. Now after I create the 2D sketch, I'm going to choose a 2-point rectangle and I'm just going to draw a normal rectangle. I'm going to select the dimension line, and instead of typing in a dimension now, I will be linking this to a parameter. So on the arrow, you can go down to click list parameters. And in this case, the parameter would be width. And then if I'm happy, I can just click on the green tick to close it. Now the second parameter that I've created, I'm just going to go on the dimension and I'm going to go down to list parameters and I'm going to list this as height and select the green tick or the height and then the green tick, and it would be updated automatically. Now from here, I'm not going to say finish, I'm just going to type E on the keyboard as that is the shortcut for the extrude. Now in this distance, I'm going to go down on the arrow, click on the list parameters and choose thickness and select OK. Now you can see the model updated automatically. Now I'm going to go a little bit further. Now I'm going to start creating model parameters. So model parameters is parameters that's being created while you are modeling. So while you are doing your sketching and modeling, you'll be able to create parameters. I'm going to go and select the whole feature in this instance. Going to place it on this face. I want that to be concentric, so I'll just click on the center and move it to the yellow dot. That will make it concentric in the center of the origin. Now, yeah, I'm going to call this, for instance, hole underscore diameter. Now, when it comes to naming parameters, you can't have a space. It's very important to remember you can't have a space between your name. That's why we would use the underscore. Now, in this instance, I'm just going to say equals. Now I can still link a different parameter. I can go to the list of parameters and I want it to be equals to the width but divided by 4 plus 10. And it needs to be completely through the block, and I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to create a normal fillet, and I'm going to, let's say, select those edges. Just going to rotate the model. And yeah, I'm going to call this fillet. I'm giving it another model parameter, and let's say I'm saying it's going to be 10 millimeters. I'm going to say OK. So this is quite a simple drawing with quite a few unique parameters. When we look at the parameter table, so when we go to the manage, the parameters, you'll notice there's now quite a few different parameters that have been created. Now in the model parameters, you'll notice the D0, D1, D2 and D3. That is the dimension names. And as we can see, D0, it's linked to width. D1 is linked to height. That is how we've created different model parameters. Just below it, you'll notice the whole underscore diameter and then the fillet parameter that have been created. Now, usually when you do not create parameters and you want to make any modifications to your model, you'll have to go and edit your sketch or edit your one of these features to make any modifications. And if you need to make modifications to all of it, this can be time consuming. Now, the simple modifications that we can make, we open the model, parameters, we look at the user parameter. Let's say I want to change the height to 150. The width will update automatically, and the thickness would update automatically. Now I want the whole diameter, for instance, not to be divided by 3, but let's say 2. And take away the 10. And I want to increase the fillet, for instance, to 15. Now I can simply press done and my model would update automatically. To verify that, you'll notice that is 150. And let's say you want the thickness not to be divided by 4, So let's say, for instance, it's going to be width minus 10. And say done, and you'll notice it became thicker. This is quite very great functionality about Inventor, is creating this parameter-driven tables and driving your models within the parameters. When we look at the parameter table, you can also export this to an XML file that you can open within Excel. And here you can choose the parameters that you would like to export, for instance, the different parameters, and you can simply export it to XML file that is available with Excel that you can open. Another feature that you can do is you can link an Excel spreadsheet within the parameter table. Now, for instance, if we go to link, you can go to that specific Excel spreadsheet that you've created, and here you've got your starting cells, and then you'll be able to link. So in Inventor with the Excel spreadsheet, it would work in this direction, and then you'll get a new tab over here, and those parameters that is available within the Excel will be able to be linked into your parameter table. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe for more details and more content.